Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode number 80. I'm Tony. With me, as usual, is Ben. Are you there, Ben?
How we doing, mate?
Oh, good this end, mate. And James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony.
Excellent. Three amigos. Heading into an international break, which is never good. A couple of weeks now of international football, which I don't think anybody really enjoys. So we're having a bit of a break. So let's have a rundown and see how we've entered that international break. Are we going to be on a high? Are we going to be on a low? Or not so? James, you're first up, mate.
Yeah. Still having a shocker, Tony. 24 points this week. Absolute disaster. Not enough Man City coverage.
Yeah,
It's something I need to address. Obviously, I've got 4 Liverpool players that didn't play, two Chelsea that didn't play. That's not going to help with the old scores.
no, definitely not.
Spurs' inability, it would seem, to keep clean sheets is still rather annoying. Perhaps now Romero's back in the side, they might improve. But I'm hearing Lloris is pulled out of international duty. So if they've got to play their reserve keeper, doesn't bode particularly well for further Spurs clean sheets, does it?
Is that still Gazaniga?
No, Forster now. Fraser Forster.
Fraser
Yeah.
Forster.
Yeah, he's a big chap, isn't he?
He is a big chap.
He had a wobbly spell at Southampton, didn't he? And then I think he went to Celtic, or one of the Scottish sides, and he did half decent. Came back to Southampton. Now he's at Spurs. I don't think he's a terrible backup keeper, but he's not Lloris, is he? So yeah, that's keeping an eye on that one. Still
Bit
got
harsh
one
that. Did you watch
Sorry?
the penalty save?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, came off his line, didn't he? That's the trouble.
So slight, so slight.
Yeah. No, you can't get away with that these days, can you? With VAR and stuff. There.
No.
I didn't see if the referee normally goes up to the keeper and says something, doesn't he? Or they have been doing that regularly. I don't know if you reminded Lloris or not. I didn't pay that close attention to it, but yeah, you can't get away with that these days, can you?
I mean, it's hard enough for a keeper to save a penalty, though, isn't it? It's all stacked in play. It's in the striker's favour.
It is, yeah.
Bit harsh in my eyes.
Yeah. So the 2 players in my defensive lineup that did play, so Alexander Arnold, Simicast, Cucurella got nothing, obviously. Lloris got me 2 points. Sessegnon got me -1. In midfield, Sterling got nothing. Carvalho got nothing because they didn't play. Kulusevski got me 5. Salah didn't play. Kane got me 10. Haaland got me 8. So 24 points. Not great.
Any transfers left?
1 transfer left in this side, which I'm going to keep till after the international break. It doesn't seem no point chasing price rises, I don't think. I will see what happens. Unless there's like firm injury news where someone's definitely out that I know before, then I won't probably save that till the following week, I think.
We're not tempted by Salah to KDB before the games.
Possibly. I have actually done that in quite a few other sides, though.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be reluctant to do it in this one as well because I want to keep a bit of a spread.
Yeah.
So I probably won't do that in this one, but possibly.
Yeah. It's harsh sometimes, isn't it? Especially how the postponements have fallen. So there'll be a lot of teams that have been battered by them postponements.
Yeah.
Especially like being quite heavy Liverpool with a sprinkle of Chelsea. Your weekend were pretty much done for, weren't it?
It was, yeah. Luckily, I was so hungover, I missed most of the football on Saturday. I did watch. I always watch Match of the Day though, and I usually watch all the games. But yeah, I missed a few this weekend. But yeah, I always watch Match of the Day just to make sure I'm up to speed on what happened.
Yeah. Over to my side. Quite a decent week for this team, as it only missed 2 players did not play. Dalot didn't play, and Odegaard missed out through injury. Again, Lloris in the net. My fist pumping were short-lived, as the referee told him to retake the penalty. Bit disappointing. Sessegnon finally got a start, got on the pitch, but again, no clean sheets in sight, so -1. Akanji, who's done all right for me since I brought him in, another 8 points for him. He looks pretty decent actually from what I've seen of him. Slotted in really nice in that City back line. Laporte's got a bit of a challenge on his hands to get his place back there, I reckon.
Much competition there now,
Squads, isn't they?
especially centre half.
You've got Stones playing at right back, who's doing a cracking job as well. He actually looked more solid with Stones at right back.
Right back.
He does. I thought they might be a little bit light going forward, but he's making some hell of a runs down now, and obviously scored over a week.
Got a few assists already this season as well.
Yeah, he's just a little bit pricey, Stones. I think when I looked, he was about 4.9 million. So yeah, Kanji a cheaper option in that back line. So into the midfield, Kulusevski 5 points with an assist and a 7 rating. Odegaard did not play. De Bruyne 7 points, a couple of assists. Foden, a nice cheeky goal for him, 8 points. Haaland up top with 8, Kane up top with 10, and Jesus up top with 7. So decent score of 54 points this week. Pretty good. Transfer I made this weekend was Sterling, who I brought in earlier in the month, doing a bit of the hokey-cokey with him. I'm just trying to maximise fixtures. It's a short run to the World Cup, and I wanted to have as many players playing this weekend as possible. So Sterling to Foden, and Foden got me a nice 8 points. So happy with that move. Did that in a couple of sides, I think, as well. One transfer left in the team. I don't know if I'm going to go for a prize rise this week. It depends. I'm going to have a flick around and see if there's out I fancy. Obviously, Saliba got a nice hold, and he'd probably going up 0.3. Arsenal got some good fixtures next month, so looking into that. Maybe Dalot United have City when they get back, don't they?
Yeah,
It's
but
not.
but they do play that Ammonia Nicosia on the Thursday, so it might even it out.
Yeah, I did look at that at the back end of that. So you think he might get a -3 against City, and then it'd be my luck that he didn't play the Ammonia game.
Yeah, he's played the first 2 games, but yeah, he could be rested.
He did go strong, didn't he, last game? I think he put the full side out.
Yeah, I think he only done that because there was no weekend match, just to keep the team fresh. But I was looking at the squad today, actually, Ammonia and Nicosia. They've got 3 Brits in the squad.
Who have they got?
They got, I forgot his name, Matthews, who played for Celtic and Cardiff, Sunderland. Adam Matthews. He's like a right midfielder. And then they've got a lad called Barker, and he's come through the Man City system. He's played all over the place, he has. And they've got, do you remember Gary Hooper, who played for Celtic? Yeah. He's just signed from this month. He was playing in Phoenix, Wellington Phoenix in New Zealand.
He was, yeah.
He's been playing all over the place as well.
So you were playing in the A-League, weren't you,
with
Wellington Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting.
He did all right too, but over here for a certain amount of time, then he just went off the boil.
Yeah, he was good at Scunthorpe. Then Celtic signed him. But but they haven't started the season very well either. They've only won 2 out of 4 in their domestic league. So could be a good, and they've not done well in the Europa League. They've lost the first 2 games as well. So Man United could give them a good hiding.
Is that game at home as well?
I didn't even bother looking at that because I thought, well, good fixture.
Yeah, doesn't matter either.
I'll tell you now.
It'd be interesting if that's one at home.
They are away first game, but then they play them again the week after they play Everton at home. So
It might be a better time.
it might
Better
be
time.
worth holding on anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one to look into. How did your team get on, Ben?
I've got 40 points. It's not too bad. I jumped on a couple of transfers this week. So on Thursday night, for a 2-0 over Carvalho, I brought in Emerson Palmieri, and it got me a whopping score of -1 over 2 games. I thought I'll bring him in, save me a bit of budget. I put him in defence. Nice fixtures for West Ham, but having watched that game on Thursday and then they've lost Everton at the weekend, I regret that transfer so much. They just look terrible at the moment, West Ham. Nearly as bad as Leicester.
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't know about
Not
that.
quite. Not quite. Yes, and then I had 5 transfers still on Thursday night, so on Saturday with Salah not playing, I thought I'd do the old Kevin De Bruyne, bring him in, 7 points, good. I'm happy with that. Odegaard was not playing, injured, and
Yeah.
I looked about, see if we could do anything, and I liked Martinelli. I thought he's done really well over the last few games. I thought bring him in. He got 3 points. Not what I was looking for, but it's not bad. At least he scored some points.
Yeah.
So my team is De Gea in goal, Sessegnon -1, Alexander-Arnold. I'm glad I've kept him because he's got Brighton and Rangers next game week. He didn't play. Cancelo 8 points. Emerson Palmieri. Can't believe got him. I suppose he's only 2 million. Kulusevski, kept faith with him. He got 5 points. Elliott, 1.9 million. Didn't play, but he's playing for Liverpool at the moment, so hopefully he'll start picking up some points. De Bruyne, 7 points. Haaland, 8. Kane, 10. Martinelli, 3. 349 points at the moment. Not great. It's 172k overall, this team. So, got to improve that. Still 2 transfers, so I've got to decide what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to keep my eye on the international break and form. See if I'm going to bring Salah back in.
Yeah.
Can I just give Tony a shout out for a bit of a well, I thought it was a massive punt personally. On our Discord earlier in this week, Tony said Vieira might be a good shout to bring in for Odegaard, and he scored, didn't he, Tony?
Yeah, he did. He got me a nice goal. A cracking goal, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2.9 million, Vieira. It's one of them. I looked at the European games more than ever. I thought because he's going to start with Odegaard being out. Odegaard's probably going to be back next game. But for 2.9 million, you were going to get most of the game this weekend, and then he'll be playing. But if he misses the game against Spurs because Odegaard's back, he would then be back in the side for the Bodo Glint game. I thought that'd be one to attack. So
Yeah.
good
thinking.
Nice 8 points.
I looked at it and I thought that's a bit punty for my liking, but fair play to you. It came off.
Yeah, I did the move in 2 sides, and I actually did it my best side, which is up to like 2k now. So,
Nice.
Well done.
It were a nice 8 points to get that. Sometimes they pay off, don't they?
Yeah.
It's nice as well when you announce it in the Discord, and it does
Yeah.
pay off because it could have gone terribly wrong. But yeah, well, no, that's nice and handsome. Cheers for that. Right, questions. We've got quite a few to get through before the international break. Kick us off with Baz Bestos. With 10 transfers available from October the 8th to the World Cup, how do you see the best use of a generous amount of transfers in a condensed period? Attacking points or attacking price changes? And what would your individual strategies be on this? Ben?
Well, ideally, you want to attack the points and get the prices afterwards. Because, like, say for example, you expect Kane to score this weekend, you attack that player for that fixture, and then you'll get the price rise as well. And I've seen a lot of people attacking the price changes on a Thursday and just building the budget up. That is probably the best thing to do this season. Is attack the price changes, because at the World Cup we'll be able to have a wild card and change your team, and the more team value you have, the better it'll be to pick better players when we start again in December. But yeah, I always like to attack the points. I haven't gone that way. I haven't attacked the price changes unless it was a player that I knew was nailed for the weekend. Then I'd bring
Yeah.
him in. What about you, James?
Well, attacking the points should always come first in my book. But if you can, if you bring in a decent player and he gets good points, he scores good points, you're going to get the price rises anyway.
Yeah.
But bringing in a player just for a price rise, probably not the best strategy. I think you need to combine it with. It's all about points, really. They're the most important things. But if you can tack on a price rise as well, then happy days.
Yeah, it's an important thing that Ben said there about the being nailed. If you're making a change on the Thursday night, Friday morning, and you're bringing in a player that isn't nailed, you could be bringing someone in just for a 0.2 price rise, but he's going to get you 0 points over the next, say, couple of game weeks. Nailing someone like a KDB who's just had a decent week, you know he's going to go up 0.2, 0.3. You want him in your side. He's got good fixtures. They're the ones that you want to be attacking, getting the price rise and the player that's going to get you the points. Don't bring in anybody that you don't want for at least the next 2-3 game weeks. But then bringing in someone to say, a good example this week, I'd say Saliba, who before this weekend had gone off the boil a little bit. I think he's got a couple of minuses in a row and a blank. I'm not 100% sure about that. I know he had 2 or 3 game weeks in a row where he'd not done anything. And I think a lot of people were jumping off Arsenal. And then bang, he goes and hits an 18-pointer in. Whereas I'm looking at Saliba now and thinking, would I wanted him last week? Probably not. But then looking at Arsenal's fixtures come after the international break, I know he's probably going to go 0.3 this weekend, which could, in a couple of my sides, take him out of reach, given the spread of his figures. So he's an option now. He's an option where I think, they're going to play a lot of games in October. He's going to play most of them, and I'm going to get an instant 0.3 rise out of him. So that's an example of someone who isn't, say, a KDB or a Salah or a Kane, but somebody who's worth jumping on, I think, in my eyes. But trying to timing them right is what I'd go for. Not so much just looking for price rises. Like James says, price rises follow the players that get you points. So, yeah, good question. Obviously, we know by end of January which strategies worked out best, because it's going to be really interesting after that wild card in December. So these teams are going to be, well, I think you're going to find probably a lot of different blocks knocking around. There'll be some expensive blocks, which is looking like it's going to be the City lot, and there might be some cheaper blocks, depending on how well Liverpool and such do in the run up to the World Cup. We could have Trent at 4.2 million if it carries on.
I sincerely hope that's not the case.
Yeah, right, Connor. Now, this was before the Arsenal game, during the Arsenal game, he sent this question in. Best players to move Arsenal defenders out for. Cheapish to mid-price defenders. I didn't even I didn't even have a look, in honest, Connor, because I think you might be reversing your question there after the performance. What do you reckon, James?
Well, I've had a look at the fixtures. I think Chelsea have decent fixtures for clean sheet potential. Trouble is, we've got new manager in there, Potter. I think the only cheap, and obviously quite a few of their defenders are actually quite expensive. So Cucurella's obviously the standout there. Obviously Potter likes him. He managed him at Brighton, so I would say he's a fairly safe pick, and he's still cheap at 2.9 million, I think. Fofana didn't play the last game, so he's one to watch, I think. So yeah, Potter didn't start him, did he? So in fact, he had Koulibaly on the bench as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which was an odd one. But Kante's back in training, so that should help us shore up their defence. I'm not 100% sure that Potter is a brilliant defensive manager, but we'll see. But I think Chelsea's probably my favourite team to target if you want. There's a couple of cheap options there. Keep an eye on Robertson's injury as well, because obviously he's out at the moment. So Tsimikas, he's a good backup, and he's only 3.3 million. Hopefully Liverpool's will get a few more clean sheets in the coming weeks. That would be my advice.
Yeah, Ben?
Yeah, I think you covered it. Shimikas, 3.3. Obviously, we've got a couple of weeks now till the next game. So we'll have to see what happens with that if Robertson's back. Tsimikas is definitely a shoo-in if Robertson's out. And Cucurella, you said. Like you say, Chelsea's he's in the how would you say? He's in the phase where you're like seeing what team's best for you at the
Yeah.
moment. So he's going to be mixing it up a bit, I reckon.
Yeah.
They're the second game on the Saturday because they're 3:00 kickoff, so you get to see the lineup pretty much. Cucurella, like you say, Fofana hasn't been given a chance yet, so he could be coming in at the weekend. Dallo, I think he's great, 2.6 million. Tricky fixture against Man City, but then from then on, good fixtures. United look a lot more solid now. Then you've got in midfield, Kulusevski, I like him. He's going to get minutes in the Champions League and Premier League, rotated with the other three, Son, Kane and Richarlison. Sancho could be one. Jorginho could be interesting. 2.8 million now. On penalties, bit of a McAllister style player for from his Brighton days for the manager Graham Potter, could be interesting. And obviously Gallagher, he's only 2.2 million. Can he revive his form from last season? Be played in a bit of a more advanced role. So yeah, interesting. What do you think, Tone?
Yeah, I'd go for it. Obviously, moving Arsenal defenders out, I'd go for a hold. I know they've got a tricky fixture at start next week with after international break. Sorry, with Spurs, but then they've got Bodo in the Europa League. They've got a nice easy fixture against Liverpool. They've got Bodo. No, then they've got Bodo.
That one.
So a couple of tricky fixtures at start, but then after that, a Bodo double header. They got Leeds, PSV, Southampton, PSV, Forest, and then is it Zurich? I mean,
He's trying to nail them defenders in Europe, though. I think it's a bit tricky.
Yeah.
Gabriel played the European game last time, and Saliba sat it out. But he could change it up this time because they've only played one game so far in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tricky.
I just wouldn't be in a rush to get rid.
Yeah.
I think you've spoke through all the best options. I think Tsimikas is probably a good one because if there is a revival coming on from Liverpool and Robertson is still out for a little bit, that could protect you a little bit if you have ditched the likes of Trent and Robertson. along the way. It could protect you if that revival started and you didn't quite have a Trent or a Van Dijk or somebody. Simicast could sneak you a 5 or 8 points whilst Robbo's
Yeah.
away. And if you do see Liverpool reviving at them prices, they'd be ones to jump on. So, yeah, for me, I'd hold Connor, really. Or it will be interesting to see Chelsea. Brighton, notoriously good defensively.
Yeah.
These 3 centre halves and wing backs. Surely he's got enough talent there to get Chelsea just as solid as he's had Brighton, Potter. Right? Definitely one to watch. DT Patrick, is there an argument for taking out KDB for a Diaz, Sterling, or Foden type and upgrading elsewhere? As great as he is, KDB doesn't seem to be a star man or bonus point magnet, and with assists being only 2 points, is he really worth holding on to? Sorry, Ben.
That's a tough one. That KDV is like unbelievable. I've just brought him into pretty much all my teams this weekend. I think I've got him in 9 teams. Haaland's only got 3-star mans, and KDB's got 2, so it's not much difference there so far. 9 games played.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't mind it if you can get like Foden and Diaz or Foden Sterling, but I suppose he's probably got De Bruyne and Elliott or something like that. So he's relying on one player really at the moment.
Yeah.
If you can do it, but obviously it's 2 transfers, and then you're going to probably further down the line be worrying about not having De Bruyne again. So it's a tricky one. What do you think, James?
Well, I looked into the stats for this one, and KDB has got 7 ratings in 6 out of his 9 starts. I think that's decent.
Yeah.
He's got, he's not struggled for. I don't recall KDB struggling for ratings in previous seasons. It feels a bit knee jerky to write him off at this stage. He is the top scoring midfielder in the game at the moment, and not by a huge amount. And he's playing for the best attack in the league. So I would be reluctant to move him on personally. I think you'd be better off looking at other areas of your team to downgrade than KDB.
Definitely. I mean, he's got 2 Starman awards. There is only 3 people in the whole game that's got more Starman awards than him. Haaland being one, which Ben said. Do you know the other 2? Pope is the one. One
Martinez?
more. No. Martinez is on 2.
Oh, sorry. He's got another one with 3, did you say?
Yeah, he's been a bit of a demon for Starman awards this season so far.
Go on then.
Thiago Silva.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it is a little bit knee jerky. I could see the frustrations. Is that KDB obviously he's had 8 assists so far this season, and he's only got 2 Starman awards. I think that's the frustration. Is are the assists going to be enough?
Only 1 goal as well, but the Starmans bump it up a bit, don't they?
Yeah.
Starmans.
Is Haaland going to steal all of KDB's Starman awards? Well, they're more or less neck and neck.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, and so I just KDB's a keep for me all season long. Unless he's injured, he's not coming out of my sides. That's the way I'm playing it.
But
just to put it into context, Harry Kane, Starman Magnet, has had 0 Starman awards this season.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it puts it into a bit of context. That
perhaps we need to reset our thinking on Starman Awards, because we're pretty sure that the Who Scored algorithms changed. The picture could look quite different this year with who ends up with the most Starman awards. I think certainly something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because it does seem, like we've been saying for weeks now, it does seem a bit strange that some players are getting ratings that you wouldn't expect, and they're getting random star man awards and things. So yeah, something we need to keep an eye on for sure.
I definitely think it's favoured towards defenders and goalkeepers. I think we've seen that. Like obviously, Thiago Silva's up there, and Nick Pope are both up there with Haaland. In the Arsenal game, Arsenal win 3-0. I know at one point towards the last 5 minutes, I think it was, Jesus was on 8.12 and Saliba was on 8.12. And Jesus got himself a yellow card and it took him down to an 8 rating. So again, I know Saliba scored and also got the clean sheet. But again, it was another defender getting the Star Man award. So it is going to be one that we need to keep an eye on because it might be worth having four at back, four decent defenders, because it seems like the tackle, heads, blocks, interceptions might be counted a hell of a lot more than what it has in previous years. So yeah, right. I want to hear from Andy Barnett. There are 3 times during the week people choose to make transfers. My question is, what is the main advantage and the main disadvantage of making your transfers? Number 1, on a Thursday evening before a Friday morning price change. Number 2, just before the final game of the weekend. Just before the first game of the weekend, sorry, not the final one. And number 3, midweek when you have a did not play a player before European fixtures. Advantages and disadvantages, James.
Well, if you make your transfer on a Thursday evening before the Friday morning price change, the obvious advantage is you're going to get the price rises. The disadvantage are not seeing the team sheets, not getting to see the manager press conferences where you can pick up extra info about who might be injured, etc. So yeah, that's number 1 dealt with. Just before the first game of the weekend, well, you get to see the team. That's the main advantage. For number 3, midweek when you have a player that's not played before a European fixture, I think this is the most dangerous type of transfer. I think you're picking from a small player pool of players that didn't start at the weekend. It can be worth doing for the right player, but it can also be tempting to make a rash move just to get someone in. And I think you need to be careful with that type of transfer because quite often it's a very short-term option and you're just bringing in a player because he's playing. You don't really want him long-term. So I would be wary of those types of transfers.
Yeah, rewind to about 10 minute 30 in the pod and listen to Ben talk about his Emerson Palmieri.
To be fair, there was no football at the weekend, was there? That's why I did that. The weekend before, there was no football, so all the players were still unlocked.
That's true. It's true. Bigger pool of players it was.
He started the last 3 games, played 90 minutes as well at Emerson. And I thought, he's looking like he's nailed. He's playing quite high up. He's getting involved. He scored a goal the week before. I thought this could be a good signing. This 2 million, but West Ham don't look very good, man.
Yeah, it's like waiting on, thinking they'll perform this weekend,
especially against Silkeborg.
How long did that clean sheet last? About 3 minutes, was it?
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. I think you've covered that well enough, James.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's the advantages, disadvantages. Right, a couple of questions here, and both of them include Salah. We'll go to the first part of Oz. Oz has been on with looking at October's fixtures. What would your best formation be? 3 at the back, KDB to Kane. What would your best formation be? We'll touch on that first. 3 at the back, 4 at the back. What do you reckon for October, James?
Well, I'm going to say 3 at the back at the moment because there's no one side that's really standing out defensively. I know City are doing well, but they've got some expensive assets. There's a lot of rotation there. I would say 3 at the back would be preferable. And then yeah, definitely 3 up front as well. Because there's lots of options in the big hitting bracket up front, and there's some good budget offerings as well. Likes of your Martinellis, your Richarlisons, etc. It's the midfield that's more difficult to pick at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you could argue maybe it's easier to pick 4 defenders than it is to pick 4 midfielders. I don't know. What do you boys think?
It's not as risky getting a £1 to £2 million midfielder in as it is getting a £1 to £2 million defender in who might be conceding 2 or 3 a
Yeah,
week, which is
exactly.
always the risk. Yeah, it is feeling a bit of 3 at the back at the minute, isn't it? If we don't, like I say, it's only City really doing a little bit in that department, but to have 3 or 4 of their defensive assets costs a lot. So, what do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, at the moment, like I agree with you guys, 3 at the back, but it can easily change. So
Oh
I
yeah,
like to keep it flexible. Really, I don't really want to commit to a formation because something might happen next week, and then we all jump on it, and it'll be like 4 at the back.
yeah.
Something might come up. Yeah, so
Reach
yeah,
James.
keep flexible. And agree with James. 3 at front if possible. To get 3 at front, definitely.
Yeah, needing that. Right. Next bit of the question: KDB to Kane. With KDB not being the Starman magnet, with Haaland and Cancelo to compete with, is Kane a safer option with a combo of cheaper City mids as well? Also, we've just been over quite a few stats regarding that, and Kane has 0 Starman awards to KDB's 2. Yeah, I mean, KDB to Kane.
Well, there's only a 2-point difference between the two.
Yeah,
So Kane may not have picked up any Starmans, but there's only a 2-point difference between them, and there's only a 0.1 difference in price. So, yeah, I mean, Kane is nailed on pens, I suppose. It's a tricky one, that, I think. What do you
you
reckon, Ben?
should have both of them.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. I just KDB to Harry Kane. It's tricky. I'd probably tricky. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'd wait till obviously till next week, till when the lineups come. Because the first game is 12:30. Arsenal, Tottenham, Arsenal, isn't it? So we'll get to see the lineups because you never know. Someone might get injured, and then it makes it a lot easier. You can go KDB to Harry Kane if KDB pulls up for Belgium
Yeah,
with an injury.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. Like Harry Kane's nailed in the team, but Man City are a lot better side, more on form. Only because Kane's played Leicester, they've scored 6 goals. It looked like a good option, but to be honest, Leicester were in that game pretty much until the 70th minute, and then it just went when Leicester were chasing the game. Then it opened
yeah,
up for Spurs, and Son just took his joy out of it, and he scored a hat trick.
yeah. Where
Yeah,
did that
so
come from?
it's a tricky one, but Man City are flying at the moment, and obviously De Bruyne might get rested in Europe or something like that. So then you might be an opportunity to move on to Kane. So yeah, I don't know. I can't commit yet till I see what happens over the international break.
That's it. You got to seize opportunities, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like say with injuries or seeing lineups beforehand.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
That's what
it's
I
one of them.
that's what I did this weekend. I brought Kane into all my teams with Salah in.
Yeah,
I had plenty of. I've still got at least one transfer in most them teams, so I could reverse it next game week if I want to. But I
yeah.
want to
If
wait because it's such a long time. I think I've got a chance to like soak it up and see what happens over the international break, and then I'll decide
yeah,
what I'm going to do. I might mix it up. I
definitely.
might just go all in the Salah. I don't know.
Well, we'll touch on that then. Now, is it again from Oz? Is it a big panic to get Salah back in as many sides as possible too? If you've taken him out, we'll couple that with Martin Beasley's question on Twitter: has Salah turned the corner? Stick with him? Question mark. James.
I wouldn't say it's a massive panic to get him back in as many sides as possible. Liverpool did look immeasurably better in the last game that they played. Having Thiago back in the midfield seems to make a hell of a difference to the side. They're clearly up for it. They realise that they can't go out. Klopp had obviously given them a rollicking. They'd spent a lot of time discussing what had happened in the previous games. I'm hoping that this is them turning in the corner, but I think it's too early to say for sure. So I wouldn't be doing a wholesale get Salah back into all your sides. I certainly think you should have some coverage of him. I would be hedging my bets. With 10 sides, you can afford to hedge your bets, can't you? So I'm going to keep. He's certainly in some of my sides. I'm not going to bung him in all of my sides just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hedge your bets. I don't know if he's turned the corner yet, but he scored in the last match. He's the main man. He's played the most minutes for a centre forward in all the games as well. So, be interesting. What do you think, Tony?
I was just about to ask you the question. If you had the choice, because obviously about bringing them into your side is a little bit different, but if you had a choice now in your best side and you've got to go with one of them, who would it be? Salah, Kane?
For the next game week, if they're both fit, I'd probably bring Salah in for the Brighton and Rangers. I was looking at it before. So you could bring Salah in for Brighton and Rangers, and then Tottenham play Brighton Eintracht the week after. So you could move back on to Kane there. But Liverpool play Arsenal and Rangers. It's tough, really. You can do a bit of an okie dokie with KDB, Salah, and Kane. KDB hasn't got a game. Sorry, he's got a game against Liverpool in October. So the weekend of Friday, October the 14th, they play Liverpool only. You could do okie dokie with KDB there and bring Salah in, you know what I mean? And then Man City's fixtures are good from then on. They've got Brighton, Borussia Dortmund, Leicester, Sevilla, Fulham, Chelsea, Brentford before the World Cup. So it's a bit, if you keep your transfers back, you could do a bit of okie dokie with the premiums.
Yeah, try and nail the right games. I wouldn't be clamouring to get Salah in just yet. It's a bit of improvement from Liverpool, and so you see that fire spark underneath, and like I will be making a few transfers to get some Liverpool coverage into my sides, definitely, but not right now. Not right now. I'm not worried too much about it.
Your best side doesn't have Salah in, does he? You've done
No.
all right with him.
Yeah.
2K
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, it's strange thinking any team could have gone without Salah from the start of the season and done all right. I don't know how many teams have actually got him in, you know. I think I went through this last week. How many teams have got more Salah in?
I've sold him in all my teams now. But I have transfers to bring him back.
Yeah, I've got him in one team. And that's me, the Liverpool block team from the start of the season. Is he going to work his way into many of my sides? Yeah, he'll get back in a couple, and hopefully time it right.
Those two home fixtures against Brighton and Rangers just look really good, though.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, with the price point, obviously him, Kane, KDB, they're all very similar prices, so you can usually play around with them. But yeah, definitely one to be naughty Liverpool. Or if you are obviously struggling a little bit for points and what have you, then loading up on a load of Liverpool now wouldn't be a bad idea. Whilst they are at well, hopefully for James, they're at the cheapest now, aren't they?
Well, yeah, hopefully they'll be heading in an upwards direction sometime soon.
Right. couple of questions about the fixtures from DT Patrick and Ngu. Who do you feel have the best and worst fixtures for October and teams to target for next month to the World Cup? What do you reckon, Ben?
Well, for Patrick's question, I think the team with the best fixtures from now for October is Chelsea, and the worst fixtures I'd say is Man City. But for Mgu's question, teams to target for next month from now until the end is Man City and Liverpool. You know what I mean? Because Man City will just beat everyone. They've probably got the
Yeah.
worst fixtures out of the top 7 that are in Europe. But I still think Man City and I think Liverpool is going to turn a corner anytime soon. So I think they're the teams to target. Keep an eye on Chelsea. New management. It's going to be a lot of mixing it up to get his best team. So it's going to be a few people missing out every now and again. Tottenham, they look terrible at the back. Watching them against Leicester should have had about 4 goals.
Yeah.
But maybe when Romero starts next game, they'll look a lot better. Chelsea, and Tottenham attacking wise, Harry Kane, great, yeah. Son looks like he's back on form now. So yeah, they're just a Champions League team for me. What about you, James?
I agree with you that Chelsea have got the best fixtures. Liverpool's looked nice up until they play City. I think Spurs, in terms of not so good, yeah, you're right to pick out City. Have got a couple of tricky ones, but obviously, arguably, are fixture proof.
Yeah.
Arsenal got a couple of tricky ones, obviously with Tottenham. In the next 3 games, they've got Tottenham and Liverpool. But after that, it's looking pretty decent again. Spurs have 3. I noticed Spurs have got 3 away games on the trot after the international break. After the international break, so that doesn't, that could. It's always harder to play away, isn't it? So, especially this season, home advantage seems to be a thing again, unlike during the previous lockdowns. So, if I was going to target someone, it'd be Chelsea, I think, like I said earlier, and just be wary of, City got a few difficult ones, Spurs got a few difficult away games, and Arsenal in the next 3 have 2 tricky fixtures themselves.
Yeah, covered very well. I like Arsenal's fixtures after the Spurs and Liverpool. I like them all the way to the World Cup. I think that PSV game getting thrown in there instead of the City game is probably nice for Arsenal owners. Yeah, I think you covered it well enough there. It's big difference between volume of games, obviously between the European sides and the non-European sides. Although Brighton have a few to rearrange, don't they?
Yeah.
Is it a Bournemouth game and a Crystal Palace game they need to throw in there? So Bournemouth between now and Brighton between now and the World Cup, I think have 11 games if you throw them into them midweek slots. So
They're not going to be they won't rearrange anything before the World Cup, though. I don't think, will they?
Do you know, I think they'll try and throw one onto these European weeks where Brighton
Yeah.
and Bournemouth and Brighton and Palace are both free on them weeks. You think they try and get them in before that World Cup because they're going to struggle, aren't they?
I think they're on about rearranging the games that were off this weekend. But because it was a block week last weekend, they might move that to a midweek after the World Cup so that they're all playing the same week.
Right.
If you know what I
So
mean,
they might have
3
just
games.
one rearranged then.
Yeah. But it's not been confirmed yet, so.
I mean, as ever, it's important to be on these European players. Definitely fixture volume. Connie Lingus is back.
Hey,
Evening, Connie. Did we all jump off Arsenal assets too soon? Well, judging by the performance and another good result for them, yeah. What do you reckon, James?
Well, I threw this in there because I just thought it's going to be really interesting to see how Arsenal fare with games against Tottenham and Liverpool in the next three. Obviously, they're right at the top of the league. It will be interesting if they're going to continue and that if they're going to have a really good finish to the season. I think this is those Tottenham and Liverpool games are where they're going to be tested,
Yeah.
and we will see their potential. I don't know about title credentials because that's probably City's wrapped up, but where if Arsenal could still be pushing for that second or third spot. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on with their tougher fixtures.
Definitely. Ben, are your teams looking Arsenal-like?
I don't really like Arsenal for the rest of the month just because I just have a feeling they're going to be rotating in Europe. Looking at the lineup in the last European game, they played Turner in goal, Tomiyasu, Holding, Tierney, Gabriel, which is a starter, and then you got Shaka, Lakongo, Vieira, Marquinhos, Nketiah, Martinelli. Martinelli's probably the best one for me. I've got him in a few teams still, and he's doing so well for his price as well. I just think he's great. But the only thing is, he's registered as a striker, and he on the game.
Yeah. About Vieira,
Well,
2.9 million.
you pulled one out of the bag, didn't you? He said yesterday, Vieira, stick him in.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure, but like you said, if Odegaard is back, he will play the league matches, and Vieira will play in Europe. But
Yeah.
yeah, scored 6 goals last year, didn't he? So I wasn't sure about him. I just thought he got about 16 assists though, didn't he?
Yeah, quite a few assists, yeah.
But he took his goal well in off the post from
Yeah,
outside the
lovely
box.
finish. Lovely finish. Yeah. I've got a couple of Arsenal players in most of my sides. Yeah, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, I've not really jumped away from them. I've kept Gabriel in a few. I took my Salibas out, unfortunately, but I think I did that a good few weeks ago. So yeah, still got the Arsenal assets there. So I'm hoping to keep going. So Lee Hooper's been on. He's got one transfer left in most of his top teams. He wants to know what he should be doing with that. Should he use it for a price swing and get in a player that he wants, or should he just wait until after the international break to see how things are with injuries, etc.? What do you reckon, James?
I would hold on to that transfer. There's usually injuries after the international break. You might have players that have had long flights, etc. They might only be arriving back a couple of hours before they're supposed to kick off again, from Timbuktu or wherever.
Yeah.
So I would, rather than chase the rise, if you've only got one left, I would hold it until after the international break.
Yeah.
I agree with James exactly. Keep your transfer till after the international break because you never know what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks with injuries and that.
Completely agree. Question 2. What sort of points total do you think is a good start, a mediocre start, and a poor start? James?
I would say a good start would be 440, 450 points. That would, if you had 450 points, you'd be just outside the top 1,000. I think that would be a very nice start.
Yeah.
I would say a mediocre start would be about 380. That would be somewhere between probably about 60,000-ish. And anything 350 and below is a bad start, which is pretty much most of my teams at the moment.
Ben?
Yeah, Excellent start over 450 points. Decent start around 400 points. And I'd say a poor start is anything below 350 points.
Yeah.
Similar to mine then, yeah.
Very similar. 350, a good start at 430, and mediocre 390. Just as is, just in the middle. But it can all change very quickly. A couple of weeks of City failing and Liverpool coming good, and all that could bunch up. So yeah, I'm not getting too excited or too disappointed yet. Right, John Cameron. Kulusevski, is it time to move on or stick with him?
I'd say definitely stick with him. He's good price. He's playing in the Spurs front three. Yeah, he's not starting every game, but he's coming on, making an appearance, and he's getting minutes in Europe and that. So I think he's a good player to hold. There's not many players around that price that you could get that's going to play as much as him. What do you think, James?
I think you've nailed it there. Like you said, the problem is there really is nothing in that price bracket that's going to do probably as well as him. So, or finding that player at least is going to be very difficult. So I would hold him in most of my teams. I would get rid of him in maybe a few. He has been a bit disappointing, I would say, but he has potential, and that Spurs attack hasn't really clicked. I don't think you can count the Leicester result, to be honest, when I say that, but they haven't clicked like they did at the end of last season, and I'm sure Conte will get them firing at some point with the talent they've got up front. They're gonna score plenty of goals, and there's a good chance he'll be assisting and scoring a few himself.
Yeah, I think he set his bar so high last season, didn't he? He's, like I say, the price bracket in the midfield area is what's near him. Maybe, I don't know, Odegaard at 3.2 or a Sancho who's doing okay
Or Vieira.
recently, or a Vieira at 2.9. If you drop, obviously, unless you're going to drop back to a defender, or even up top, if you go 3 up top and put a Martinelli in replace of him. Other than that, you've not got much options, and he is an explosive player on his day in what should be a very good Spurs attack. Which, after scoring 6, I know it was only against Leicester. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that because obviously Leicester are in a bit of a rut at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those Leicester are a bad side, but at this moment in time, them scoring 6 against Leicester isn't like them knocking 6 past an informed Leicester. So it's one of them. They still don't look as slick as they did, but definitely want to keep touching on the Leicester one. Do you know who is Leicester's highest point scoring defender so far this season?
No, because I haven't even looked.
It's Soyuncu.
Oh, no, because he played in the Cup.
He played in the Cup. Their only clean sheet was Soyuncu had played. He got 8 points. I think in comparison.
Danny Ward is on minus 15 now. I seen that earlier when I was looking at the goalkeepers. Did you see Kjøberg's got more points than Kulusevski now?
Has he?
Yeah. He's only 3 million. Third highest minutes so far played by a midfielder. 810 minutes. 1-star man, 2 goals and 2 assists. Got an assist on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
I think we talked about him before last season, but he goes through these little phases of getting assists and goals. And he plays a lot, but I don't know. I don't know about him. It's 3 million. Could be an enabler, but
like his mate who plays next to him, Bentancur.
Yeah,
I think he's like 2 million. I think
he's 2 points. What I don't know.
2.1 million.
Something like that. Yeah. And Bizuma's on the bench now. He could come and take someone's place. He's a
Yeah.
top player.
He's a quality player, Basuma.
I think I'd still want Kulusevski over Højbjerg just because he's
Yeah.
playing so high up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Højbjerg's too far back, and he does make some nice little runs, late runs into the box now. I think having Bentancur there has allowed him to express himself in that way, in similar way he does for Denmark. But
Definitely.
I would still go for somebody higher up the pitch, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to touch on them. Right. The mini league top 10 time. The DT Tonic Patreon League. James, do you want to have a read out of that, mate?
With pleasure, Tony. In 10th place, just the Tonic, Anthony Sutcliffe.
Yeah, that's Void, isn't it? That's my Void team. Is it still sneaking in
Not
there?
again.
It is.
Okay.
Sorry. It's Dream Team's fault. I can't remove it.
I should have put a different screenshot in then. So we're going to do the top 9 then.
Sneaking my way out to every leaderboard.
Can you rename that team to like I did with?
Don't read me.
Same thing. I'll hold my hands up, and I put in capital letters, not the Patron League, and then there's no doubts, is there?
I'll sort it.
Okay, in joint 7th we have Barry McCormack, Mark Warner, and Lee Hooper. In 6th we've got Patrick Bryson. 5th, Jake Bevan. 4th, Peter Franklin. 3, Lee Atang. 2nd, Connor Tobin, and Brian Blackett is in number 1 spot.
Come on. Play Brian. Very close up there. Right, Ben. You've got the pleasure of reading the top 10 for the Cash League.
Yep. In 10th place, Harry Jones. 9th place, Leo Reed. Joint 7th, Lee Hooper and Stephen Beswick. 6th place, Dan Bartlam. 5th place, Leo Reed. 4th place, Lee Hooper. Again. 3rd place, Mark Wallow. 2nd place, Brian Gillen. And top of the shop, Dream Team Tonic Stone.
Get in.
What's going on,
There
Tony?
we are. I don't know. Flying high.
You won the monthly prize. The weekly prize last week.
I did. Hustling by the looks of it.
City heavy.
City heavy. And treating on City every weekend now. Yeah, it's good to be up there. But you don't win out in September.
No.
Apart from the game week 5 cash prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, you don't win any trophies in September. But yeah, it's good to be up there.
Keep it up, mate.
You weren't far off there, were you?
Mate.
Ben, your team were just...
I'm 8 points off the top 10 now. 21st, I think. I was like 12th on Saturday, but then Saliba and Jesus scored on Sunday, so it knocked me down a bit.
I think I only got onto the top 10 of that last year twice. I think it took me most of the year to clamber up there just for a small appearance. I never won anything, but yeah, so it's good to be up there nice and early. Right, James, do you want to have a run through the top 1K ownership?
Yep. No surprises here. Erling Haaland, 100% ownership in the top 1K.
Yeah.
He's in top spot. In 2nd, we've got Kevin De Bruyne with 77%. Gabriel Jesus, also 77%. Saliba, 57%. And in 5th, we've got Cancelo, 56%.
No surprises there, really. Cancelo, De Bruyne and Haaland. Must-haves at the moment. Showing with firing all them teams up to the top 1K. Any surprises on the list, Ben?
No, I think some good players on there. No surprises.
Yeah, a few punts. Obviously, Mitrovic did all right for his owners, didn't he? He's owned by 15.6%. Yeah, not many surprises. A lot of City on there. Right, latest ins. So most transferred in this weekend in the in the game. Top of the shop there, Trippier transferred in by 8,600 managers.
That is a surprise.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
In this format, anyway.
It is two good fixtures, but again, these European games are the quantity of fixtures now for these European teams is huge.
Mm.
I think did they have Bournemouth at the weekend? Have they got Fulham next
Yeah.
after the international break? But still, yeah. Kane transferred in by 8,600 managers too. Richarlison, after his nice run of form, transferred in by 5,700 just to blank. Tony, after his hat trick, 5,000 transfers in, again, just for a blank. And De Bruyne in fifth place there with 4,600 transfers in. We've got his owners and a nice 7 points.
What
Ben?
about that? Emerson Royale, 4,000 transfers in, and he was on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, strange one, because he's not the cheapest. He's like 3.2 million.
3.3, yeah.
3.3, yeah. It's, yeah, strange one. Strange one there. Odegaard, transferred in by 4,000,
Oh, yeah.
only to miss out.
These must be Thursday transfers.
It must be.
I don't know.
Must be.
Well, it's transfers since the 12th of the 9th, so that would be
Last week.
like a week ago today. So it's anything from a week ago today, basically. So yeah, there's going to be Thursday transfers in there.
Yeah, definitely. What about the outs, Ben?
Yep, let's have a look. So we got top of the shop, Salah, 16,000 transfers out.
Ooh.
Robertson, 13,000 transfers out. He's injured.
Yeah, it's an exodus.
Oh my god!
It's an exodus.
There's a pattern emerging here somewhere.
Louis Diaz, 9,000 transfers out. Alexander Arnold, 8,000 transfers out. Kyle Walker, 6,000 transfers out. And I'll read the next one. Nunez, 6,000 transfers out as well. So
With the last person to own a Liverpool player, please turn out the light.
wait till next game week when Liverpool turn it around and batter Brighton and Rangers.
They could
We'll
be
be
the most
clamouring.
transferred in again next week, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, could very well see it switch around. Yeah, Jesus. Any unlucky stories on there? Jesus obviously got 7 points. Son's there with 2,800 transfers out.
that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt, hasn't it?
28 points.
Oh shit. Yeah. Tough one to take, that one, for them 2,800 managers. Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't got involved in our Patreon yet, it's coming up to Cup month. So over the international break, I'll be getting the Cup competition for the patrons all prepped. Got quite a lot more involved this year, so I'm not too sure what format, but I'm hoping to have a group stage and a knockout again. Great fun last year. Ben, you won it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Through the groups, through all the knockouts, and won it. It's definitely not fixed.
I got knocked out by 1 point by Fergie. I was so upset about that.
It is a great fun. We did get quite a few sign-ups. We did get quite a lot of people that might not have got involved in the Patreon beforehand to get involved, and they're still involved now. It, obviously, as well as getting a free entry into the Patreon Cup, you do get all the usual benefits. So if you do want to get involved, patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. have a gander on there, choose your membership level and help support us and what we do. That'll be coming after the international break. Obviously, with it being a cup competition, there will be cash prizes, a trophy for the winner, all the jazz. Like I say, it's fun. It's fun and competitive. So it'd be great to get some new faces in the Discord and get the banter going. Now we're going to have a break. Are we going to be podding next week? We're not too sure. But we have a break ourselves and come back refreshed in a couple of weeks with a transfer special with Fergie, former champion. And
We'll have a live Q&A over the international break on the Patreon.
Yeah, got a few things tickling over on the Patreon and on the Discord. So yeah, keep your ears peeled. Thanks everyone for listening. If you're not subscribed, you're listening on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, drop us a comment. Will be appreciated. Try and enjoy your international break, lads.
I'll try
Shit,
to.
innit?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably hide in a darkened corner and wait for the football to return.
That's it. It's probably best. Anyway, take it easy, chaps.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
later.